I'd never seed no sense in the doxology before, he said hoarsely. But I may change my mind in time. I should say they'd gone up £5 this week, Master Colin, 5 on 'em. Colin was looking across the garden at something attracting his attention, and his expression had become a startled one.
"Who is coming in here?" he said quickly. "Who is it?"
The door in the ivied wall had been pushed gently open, and a woman had entered. She had come in with the last line of their song, and she had stood still, listening and looking at them. With the ivy behind her, the sunlight drifting through the trees and dappling her long blue cloak, and her nice fresh face smiling across the greenery, she was rather like a softly coloured illustration in one of Colin's books. She had wonderful, affectionate eyes which seemed to take everything in, all of them, even Ben Weatherstaff and the creatures and every flower that was in bloom. Unexpectedly as she had appeared, not one of them felt that she was an intruder at all. Dickon's eyes lighted like lamps. "It's Mother! That's who it is!" And he went across the grass at a run. Colin began to move toward her too, and Mary went with him. They both felt their pulses beat faster. "It's Mother!" Dickon said again when they met halfway. "I knowed thou wanted to see her, and I told her where the door was hid." Colin held out his hand with a sort of flushed royal shyness, but his eyes quite devoured her face.
"Even when I was ill, I wanted to see you," he said. "You and Dickon and the secret garden. I'd never wanted to see anyone or anything before." The sight of his uplifted face brought about a sudden change in her own. She flushed, and the corners of her mouth shook, and a mist seemed to sweep over her eyes.
"Eh, dear lad," she broke out tremulously. "Eh, dear lad," as if she had not known what she was going to say. She did not say Master Colin, but just dear lad, quite suddenly. She might have said it to Dickon in the same way if she had seen something in his face which touched her. Colin liked it.
"Are you surprised because I am so well?" he asked.
She put her hand on his shoulder and smiled the mist out of her eyes. "Aye, that I am. But that's so like the mother that made me heart jump."
"Do you think," said Colin a little awkwardly, "that will make my father like me?"
"Aye, for sure, dear lad," she answered, and she gave his shoulder a soft, quick pat. "He mun come home, he mun come home." "Susan Sowerby," said Ben Weatherstaff, getting close to her. "Look at the lad's legs, wilt thou? They was like drumsticks. They stuck in 2 months ago, and I heard folk tell as there was bandy and knock-kneed both at the same time. Look at 'em now." Susan Sowerby laughed, a comfortable laugh. "Oh, they're going to be fine, strong legs in a bit," she said. "Let him go on playing and working in the garden, and eating hearty and drinking and plenty of good sweet milk, and they'll not be a finer pair of Yorkshire, thank God for it." She put both hands on Mistress Mary's shoulders and looked her little face over in a motherly fashion. "And thee too," she said. "Thou'rt grown near as hearty as our Elizabeth Allen. I'll warrant thou'rt like the mother too. Our Martha told me as Mrs. Medlock heard she was a pretty woman. Thou'lt be like a blush rose when thou grows up, my little lass, bless thee. She did not mention that when Martha came home on her day out and described the plain, sallow child, she had said that she had no confidence whatever in what Mrs. Medlock had heard. "It doesn't stand to reason that a pretty woman could be the mother of such a foul little lass," she had said obstinately. Mary had not had time to pay much attention to her changing face. She had only known that she looked different and seemed to have a great deal more hair and that it was growing very fast. But remembering her pleasure in looking at the Mem Sahib in the past, she was glad to hear that she might some day look like her.